With the cost of food skyrocketing, what is a college student to do? Here are some tips on how you can save.
What are Native Americans doing to keep their tradition alive? They celebrated Mexica New Year in San Jose. That story coming up.
With San Jose's mayoral election coming up, stay tuned to see what the candidates are saying and why you should vote for them.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Grace Payne.
And I'm Jesus Telitude. We begin with tragic news for the San Jose community. Former San Jose State football player and rookie police officer Dejon Packer died Sunday night, according to SJPD. Packer, only 24, was found dead in his Milpitas home. His cause of death is still under investigation. Coaches and teammates say Packer passed away, but his legacy of serving his community will remain.
I've never met anyone like him. Knowing where he came from, how he got to where he is, and the direction that he is going, yeah, Dejon Packer is one of a kind.
Toberk Blaine is the coordinator of Beyond Football, a SJSU program dedicated to prepare athletes for life after sports. Blaine saw Packer's journey from a star football player to a San Jose police officer. She said Packer was living out his dream of serving his community.
Being a San Jose native, Gunderson High School, San Jose City College, he took great pride in being a native.
Packer transferred to San Jose State from San Jose City College in 2017, before being a walk-on player for the football team. Blaine said Packer had a full-time job working a graveyard shift and still found time to participate in community events, attend football practice, and maintain a 3.5 GPA.
And I think the biggest thing about Packer was that he just wanted to impact others ultimately. Even just being a member of our team, by walking on, for him, it was sure, I love football, but it's the brotherhood and the people around me that matter.
Packer was off duty at the time. San Jose police say the county medical examiner investigating the cause and circumstances of his death.
A former San Jose State sports medicine trainer made his first court appearance via Zoom this week. He is facing federal civil rights violations for allegedly sexually abusing student athletes. Student reporter Christian Trujano has a story.
Scott Shaw, the former San Jose State athletic trainer, faced a judge in his virtual arraignment on Tuesday this week. His lawyer entered a plea of not guilty. Shaw faces a half-dozen federal civil rights violations. The Department of Justice accuses Shaw of sexual misconduct with 4 student athletes from 2017 to 2020. The charges come after investigators reopened an initial 2009 probe in late 2019. In that case, 17 swimmers alleged similar misconduct from Shaw. If convicted, he could be sentenced to as much as 6 years behind bars. The lead prosecutor says he expects at least 20 more alleged victims will testify during the trial. He accused Shaw of carrying out a decade-long scheme.
There are real victims in this case who suffered personal violations. We expect that there's a strong showing that the defendant will and does present a danger to the community in that he has engaged in criminal conduct over such a long course of time.
Shaw is currently not in custody. The judge told him he can't break any laws, tamper with the investigation, or miss any court appearances. The only time Shaw spoke was to agree to those conditions.
Are these conditions of your release clear, Mr. Shaw?
Yes, they are, Your Honor.
Will you abide by them?
Yes, I will.
All right.
Shaw is currently in Texas, but plans to travel to a National College Hockey Championship in Boston. The judge allowed that travel and extended his travel restrictions to April 20th. His next court hearing is currently set for March 23rd, but will most likely be rescheduled. In San Jose, I'm Christian Trujano for Update News.
This fall, San Jose voters will choose the city's next mayor. Who are the candidates who made it before the filing deadline? This week, they participated in a debate. Here's some of what they had to say.
6 candidates participated in the debate.
Santa Clara County Supervisor Cindy Chavez, 3 San Jose City Council members Raul Peralez, Dev Davis, and Matt Mahan, retired San Jose Police Sergeant Jim Spence, and San Jose State student Marshall Woodmansee.
What would be your action plan to decarbonize San Jose?
It's important to recognize that we may not be on the path to meet that goal currently. There's a big divide between doing the right thing and not doing the right thing. And my future lies somewhere in between.
We should just be really disciplined about completing the electrification of Caltrain, supporting the build out of high-speed rail, bringing BART all the way into downtown San Jose.
Because if we're going to replace natural gas with electricity, we have to have a very strong grid. So that's why I do not support building electrification for all existing buildings by a firm deadline.
What I don't support is putting an unsustainable financial burden on our residents to get there.
I think that the electric grid is nowhere near supportive of what we need to have done. It's going to take years for it to get there. I don't understand why people want to go ahead and jump into something before the infrastructure is available.
Being hesitant and cautious is not going to get us there. We know the path that we're on today, it's unsustainable. And if we care about the future of our children and our grandchildren, we have to be bold and unforgiving in our policies.
There will be more debates in the coming months. The primary election is in June.
It's not just the price of gas that's going up. You've probably noticed the cost of buying groceries has gone up too. That makes it harder to eat a balanced, healthy diet. Reporter Rodri Smith reports on how the dramatic jump in food prices is affecting students.
Nothing may be more important for students than a healthy, balanced diet, especially around midterms. Because it's quick and cheap, students often turn to fast food. But fourth-year student Brianna Howard says even the cost of fast food has gone up.
Definitely in the last 2 weeks, I've noticed gas prices going up, fast food even going up. I know a big thing right now I even see on Twitter is people's rent is going up.
Some students say they're trying to adjust their diets. Others, they're trying to limit meals to save money and eat healthier. Third-year student Joshua Rodriguez says he's trying his best to stay healthy.
See how it can deter others who may not be as disciplined and can fall for temptations, but for me, it's still, I'm going to eat the same foods no matter what, so I'm just going to have to deal with the cost.
Experts say there are some things you can do to save on money. One is stock up on staples like eggs, pasta, rice, bread, onions, potatoes, frozen vegetables and fruits, as well as canned tomatoes. Make a grocery list. Look for bargains. Farmers markets are often cheaper for fresh produce. You can even find some staples at the dollar store. Change your menu. Use more expensive foods like meat sparingly. Select other proteins like beans.
In San Jose, Native Americans from all over the U.S. gathered to celebrate Mexica New Year. The event lasted for 3 days, and on the last day, they celebrated with a tradition Aztec dance. They also reflected on what else needs to be done to recognize indigenous people in the U.S. Sandow has that story.
There's not many of us and many tribes anymore. We need to make an effort to unite.
Native American tribes have worked to maintain their cultural legacy. That work includes protecting certain indigenous lands and advocating for bilingual education. But they're also calling on their local and national governments to do more.
One thing that comes off the top of my head would be acknowledging this new year. The United States doesn't acknowledge it.
San Jose Mayor Sam Liccardo attended the ceremony. He said that something like a national holiday would take time, but he said that there's something even more important.
And I think it's really important for us to honor the place, not just a single day, but those places throughout our community where they're sacred, sacred context.
This event is the largest, not just in San Jose, but in the U.S. The people here state that an event this big is another step towards the recognition of the indigenous people in the U.S. Reporting in San Jose, Sandow, Update News.
When we come back, how a local high school is celebrating Women's History Month to inspire future leaders.
Coming up next, I'm going to be giving you guys this week's weather.
how two people are showing others in their community how to cook healthy and tasty plant-based meals.
March is Women's History Month. The young women at Notre Dame High School partnered with San Jose's Women's Club to host a virtual event. The theme, a significant figure who have paved the way for women in San Jose. Reporter Allison Cruz was there and has the highlights.
This year's theme, Women Providing Healing and Promoting Hope for the Female Frontline Workers who have been battling this year's pandemic.
The event began with an introduction from the leaders of Notre Dame High School, known as Young Voters. They are a group of young women dedicated to spreading awareness about all things from suffrage to voter suppression. With the recovery from this year's pandemic, guest speaker Amanda Rawson, founder of the Arts Build community, shares her organization's success with the passing of the womanhood policy that happened in early 2020.
Where is there a statue or something that memorializes a woman in our county? And they couldn't find one, right? And so coming to that realization, they thought, okay, well, then we need to figure something out. We need to create a program where this is going to be developed. Now,
13 female artists from Santa Clara County worked collectively on this project, creating portraits of women who made historical impacts. Some of these murals could be seen in downtown, in front of the Hammer Theater, Post Street, and the Fairmount Hotel. Rawson was also joined by Folak Phillips, the co-founder and executive director of OW, a nonprofit organization in Palo Alto whose mission is to unpack the intersectional issues that people, especially women, face in the workforce.
The fact that shared humanity needs to be more exposed to, to robust thinking, robust knowledge, a full perspective of stories that are, not often heard. So
Mary Beth Riley, the principal of Notre Dame High School, also shared her pride to be the leader for women who are dedicated to create a future where success is possible for all.
Kill me today, I will gladly come back as a woman again. There's just something very extra special about us, how we're wired, our makeup, our emotions, our energies, the things we can handle. That I'm sorry, the men just, cannot handle.
Organizers hope the session inspired the young women to be future leaders in San Jose. Allison Cruz, Update News.
There are a lot of reasons people experience grief: the loss of a loved one, a pet, a failed relationship, a divorce, illness, and even financial loss. It can be overwhelming, and college students are no exception. Reporter Savannah Ceballos has more on the resources available to help students cope.
Grief can be caused by a loss, disaster, drastic change, or traumatic event in one's life, with a variety of different mental and physical effects.
Physically, I just feel really drained and tired. I barely sleep. Sometimes I don't eat. Actually, most of the time I don't eat, and I just kind of feel like doing nothing. I'm unmotivated.
While the physical side effects are hard enough by themselves, mental side effects are just as hard, if not worse.
Much worse, honestly. I'm pretty much sad, angry, unhappy all the time. I hide it very well, but I'm really depressed.
But experts say there are ways to cope, including opening up to others.
You have to express that grief. You have to connect with other people and let them know that the pain you experience is real.
There are some free resources to consider if you are struggling with grief. The Counseling Center on the San Jose State campus offers free counseling to all students. And you can also reach out to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration through their national hotline. They can refer you to local treatment centers, support groups, and community-based organizations. Remember, you don't need to go through grief alone. If you need guidance, support, or an emotional outlet, don't be afraid to ask for help. In San Jose, I'm Savannah Ceballos for Update News.
Spring is right around the corner. March 20th this year marks Nowruz, the Parisian New Year. It's time to celebrate traditions. What's the symbolism for the Parisian community? Reporter Niku Parsisadeh has that story.
Nowruz means a new day that brings joy, new clothes, flowers, and new poetry to everyone's house. Based on the solar calendar, Persian New Year is held on the first day of spring and runs a 13-day course that ends with Nature Day. This year, it's being celebrated on March 20th.
Persian New Year is so meaningful for me since it's a way for me to keep our tradition alive, and we set up half scene for Nowruz, and we have two big ceremonies before and after Nowruz, which help us to bring the community together. We don't have holidays here, but I try to make it a special, even for a moment or maybe a part of a day. I always do have seen other people around myself, and wanted to make it special for others. We came from Iran and we wanted to keep it warm for ourselves.
Hafsin is the arrangement of 7 symbolic items whose names start with the letter S. Wheat germ, sweet pudding, as a symbol of power and strength, oyster for love, vinegar for patience, apple for beauty, garlic for health, sumac for sunrise, and grass as symbol of rebirth.
Us as the people of Iran, that tradition stays for us for a long time so far, and we are trying to get our Persian people together with these tradition we have, because that's only what is say in the United States for us. So,
those who celebrate hope the traditions will bring more of a sense of a community.
Being together, having party together, having Persian cuisine together, that's gonna be like life, means life to us, and bringing the people together, that's gonna meant to be.
In San Jose, Niku Parsisadeh, Update News.
Activists say not enough communities of color in the Bay Area have access to healthy foods. One duo is working to fix that. They started by showing people how to make tasty meals that are healthy too, when they might not have much to work with. Zoma Kanapui has the story.
It's a little like a rock band on tour. This stop, San Francisco, the vegan hood chefs in a live performance with their food truck, educating palates about plant-based food options and bringing their brand of health education to this San Francisco neighborhood. The chefs focus on communities of color that might not have much access to healthy fruits and vegetables.
Our goal is to continue to visit different cities or places that are impacted by food apartheid in the Bay Area, and then possibly expand outside of the city, because we know this is an issue that many Black and brown communities are impacted by throughout, the whole United States.
The goal of Heal the Hood Tour was to bring more resources, knowledge, and a safe space to the local community. The work has become so popular, they attract people from outside the Bay Area too.
I mean, with everything that's going on right now in the world, it's like having something like this it just brings people together, and it's so motivational.
I run a business over here, and I've lived in this area for 48 years, so I have to come out and support the community. I love it because it brings everyone out. You get to meet neighbors that you've never met and just get to enjoy each other.
Bringing people together one vegan meal at a time.
I hope people leave from here inspired that they can be the solution to whatever issue they have going on, that you could get a couple of community partners, come together and build an event like this to change whatever you want to change in your neighborhood.
In San Francisco, I'm Sulma Kanui, Update News.
And now we have Brianna Mathaw with the weather.
We've seen the return of welcome rain chances this week. Although totals are generally pretty light, we may have more chances for rain to start for the upcoming weekend. This is good news potentially for the Sierra snowpack, which sits at just 57% of average. And as the snow and rain chances move out, plan on seeing some windy conditions at times into Sunday. Our futurecast here shows a storm approaching Saturday, bringing some rain chances to start the weekend with some clearing and breezy conditions Sunday. Highest rain totals, however, are expected mostly north of the Bay Area. Now moving into the 7-day forecast, in Santa Cruz, we are going to be seeing Saturday highest of 59 and a low of 54, raining. Sunday is going to be a high of 60 and a low of 56. Moving into San Francisco, Saturday is going to be hit with rain, high of 56 and a low of 55. Sunday, a high of 59 and a low of 57. Then in Oakland, Saturday is going to be again with some rain. 58 is going to be the highest. The lowest is going to be 44. Sunday is going to be 61, and it's going to be the lowest of 44. And then in San Jose, we have Saturday with some slight rainfall, high of 60, lowest of 55. Sunday is going to be a 61 average, going down to 63. And that is it for the weather. Back to you.
And when we come back,
stick around to see SJSU student players and the latest Spartans Got Talent show.
FriendFest returns in 2022 with a bigger venue after a 2-year pause from the pandemic. After a 2-year pause because of the pandemic, San Jose's FriendFest is back. This time at a bigger venue with more than 100 artists showing and selling their work. I talked to artists and organizers about what the event's return means to small business owners. It was a celebration of friendship and small businesses at FriendFest this past weekend. Artists came together to sell their work at the Plex in San Jose. The event was hosted by San Jose Made, an organization that helps promote and connect small Bay Area businesses. FriendFest was no different.
Well, I mean, everything that San Jose Made does is designed to help local small businesses grow both their business, like financially, but also their visibility in the area. You know, sometimes it takes the form of events like this. We do pop-ups. We have our own retail storefronts based in downtown San Jose.
According to SJ Made, this is the second FriendsFest in 2019. The event has been postponed the last 2 years because of the pandemic, but now it's been relocated to a bigger venue and has over 100 artists showing their talent.
Just the exposure and just seeing all the engagement that people have, getting hyped, just telling me how much they like my art, or playing kendama for the first time. It really means a lot just to be able to be out with the community and just sharing my art and getting people to, you know, give good feedback. It's really cool just seeing all the support that people have for the local businesses.
It felt great being out here and getting out here again after, 2 years now that it's been? So it was definitely nice to be able to interact with people.
After the event, San Jose Made announced on their social media platforms the events they have planned for the rest of the year. Nostalgia pop-up mall event in August and more.
The Sound of Music filled the Student Union Theater this week as San Jose State students competed in the 4th annual SGT, Spartans Got Talent.
Some people think that the physical things define.
This was just some of the action during the 4th annual Spartans Got Talent event hosted by the Student Union and associated students. It was a small, intimate crowd as student performers captivated the audience for a shot at first place. The prize? A chance to perform at the next homecoming event, Fire on the Fountain. The contestants showed up to impress the panel of judges, but for many, it was great just being able to perform in front of an audience again.
And after I got off stage, I felt very happy because I haven't performed on stage live in so long, and that's something that I enjoy doing all the time.
Ramon won second place. First place winner Evelina Mas Espinoza said it was different performing this time. She said she was so used to performing via Zoom that being here made it that much more special.
And being on stage again is it's like a dream come true, basically.
Organizers of the event said bringing students back to in-person events is difficult, but can still be done. They are slowly transitioning by requiring the use of masks and other safety precautions.
We're hoping within this next year that we'll have more of a turnout with people that are going to be more comfortable and feel more safe with coming to in-person events.
In San Jose, I'm Christian Trujano for Update News.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
From all of us here, thanks for joining us and see you next week.